Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for taking the time, and to you, John, and your colleagues for making the effort to engage in what is a very important conversation. A conversation that I think all Australians really need or want to be involved in, and they want to have an understanding of what it means, the potential impacts of climate change in terms of regional Australia, Australia generally, and what are some of the potential drivers to make some of these things happen. I think, particularly in the last week, we've seen, very clearly that even though this is a very complicated area of debate and a very important area of debate, we've seen how easily it can be brought back to slogans and single sentences. Obviously, there are a number of ramifications of any change or any move towards a price of carbon or various policies that might, in fact, enhance a drive to renewable energy, and John will talk about some of those in a minute. But there are some enormous opportunities for regional Australia in some of the things that John will talk about as well. And if you add to those some of the things that the Prime Minister mentioned even the other day, and I know Roscano has talked about and others, in terms of carbon and the landscape, the potential of various farming and grazing technologies to enhance the sequestration of carbon. There's various technologies being looked at in other parts of the world that have carbon sequestered at depth in terms of organic matter and humus, etc. So there's a range of potential areas where regional Australia could be beneficiaries of a move to more renewable energies, and even the current debate about whether petrol's in or out of the mechanism that hasn't even been determined yet. If we're serious about looking at renewable energy resources, there are renewable transport fuel resources that are available now, and with increased research, of course, could be much more in the future. So I thank you, John, to your institute and for the people that you've engaged to do the work, and the snapshot of New England, amongst others, across Australia. But very importantly, I think what your work indicates is that there are opportunities and enormous potential out there if we shift our minds and look a little bit further forward than just the next electoral cycle. So now hand over to John Connor to elaborate on their report. Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much, Tony. Greatly appreciate your assistance in launching this research, and it's what we think obviously is an important contribution to the debate. It is important to talk about the costs and how we manage them, but it's also very important to talk about the benefits and how we achieve them. Before I go on, I wanted to acknowledge our chair of the Climate Institute, Mark Wootton, here, and the staff, Will McGoldrick and Garrett Stringer, who've been working hard on this project. This research is groundbreaking in that it involves not just top-down modelling of the clean energy resources and opportunities that are available, but we've actually commissioned experts from Ernst & Young to go out onto the ground and talk with business leaders and community leaders about how we actually turn that opportunity into reality. This is research that's been supported by the New South Wales Government, who set up 6 renewable energy precincts early last year. The research was underway in July, which I should say was before the election, and included the New England Tablelands before the election, so we're not being opportunist here for you, those of you who may be more cynical here in the press gallery.
None of them here.
No, not here, none of you involved here. But this study shows that with policies that put a price on carbon pollution, that back clean energy, we can grow at net growth across the electricity sector of 34,000 jobs across Australia, most of those in regional Australia. You will see, as this debate unfolds, a number of claims and counterclaims about jobs and opportunities. We're putting this research up on our website where all the methodologies can be looked at. But it's important to be contrasting what this is a growth here from the base of current employment against other studies which will look at hypotheticals against business as usual. What this information and research shows, though, that people in the power sector can continue to work, but we can also continue to grow, and the growth will be particularly across regional Australia. There are challenges in some regions like the Hunter and the Latrobe, and we've got to face them head on. But in each of those regions, we think that there are opportunities, and we're talking with the unions and others there in those regions around the opportunities there as we move forward. What's critical within that is that we have skills and industry development policies that are part of that. How to upskill local workforces, how to look at local manufacturing and potentials that are in the regions, but also how we attract the skills to those regions. So this research has been prepared, it's all online. We invite you to have a look at that and challenge that and ask the questions of that. But I'll now throw open for questions about that and of Tony as well. Thank you.